let me introduce to you the Chaparral 225 SSi Cuddy Cabin. This cuddy cabin represents an evolution in design for Chaparral boats. It comes on the heels of the very popular 215 SSi that they built for quite a few years. Let me go through a few things that I think are really cool about this cuddy cabin. Starting at the bow, for those people who prefer a full bow rail, Chaparral offers a stainless steel welded 1-inch bow rail. Also, note the bow roller. So now we can mount our anchor right up on the bow of the boat. Now this can be a little tricky if you're trailering. You really don't want to have this anchor here because the anchor will get hung up on the bow chock. But if you're keeping this boat in the water, this is amazingly practical. This little bit here, we call this a wide tech bow, and all that's doing is opening up the interior of the boat a little bit for you. Okay? It makes it a little bit roomier inside. Now I know a lot of people argue against the cuddy cabin. My main thing is this. Buy a bow rider. If you're going to get 8 to 10 people on the boat, you're not going to sleep, and you're not going to sleep with anybody. Okay? Otherwise, consider a cuddy cabin. Because if you can sleep on the boat, shower on the boat, go to the bathroom on the boat, and cook on the boat, you can write the interest off as a second home mortgage interest deduction under IRS code. Don't let people lie to you. A bow rider cannot legally be written off because there's no sleeping facility. With the exception of certain boats, like some Sea Ray Sun Deck models, the Chaparral 327. If you get a huge bow rider with a bed, yes. A 21-foot, 22-foot bow rider won't have that. This is how you do that financially. Okay, boat carries all the classic benchmarks of Chaparral design: the extended V-plane running surface, molded-in swim platform, Volvo Penta power. In this case, we're going to use a 5.0 270 horsepower SX, which I know is totally meaningless to you. But boat goes 50, pulls skiers and tubes. That's all you need to know. Remember with Chaparral, the swim ladder is always on the driver's side. That's because when you drop a skier, you want to be able to see the skier when you're turning the boat to go pick them back up. Some other builders foolishly put the ladder on the port side, and that's an impractical thing to do. Whenever you're judging people's swim ladders, open the swim ladder up and find out how far down it goes. Because if this is a 2-step swim ladder, you still ain't getting in the boat. And if you don't have a grab handle, you still ain't getting in the boat. Oh look, Chaparral allows you to get in and out of the boat real easily. See, the thing I like about this swim platform design too, right where you can get at it. Here's your drink holder, here's your ski ring, here's your seat. Note the pop-up cleats. If you're pulling that, nothing gets hung up on the cleat while you're trying to pull a tube, and the tuber wants to go outside. You just snap these into place. You got all the shade of your cockpit. That's a cool thing. This boat also has enclosure canvas. It has a camper enclosure, so if you spend the night on it, you can stay out in the cockpit. This is called the cockpit where I'm standing. Look how practical this is. You can lay out on it, look at the stars. You actually, if you have the canvas up, you can have an extra person sleeping here. So technically the boat sleeps 3. And that's because when they designed this, they made it so it slides in instead of slides back. Chaparral's going to give you storage everywhere, like right here. And there's one battery in the boat. You might get a dual battery that would go in this spot. But you could stuff a pair of life jackets down here, some fenders, some ropes. On a boat, you want to open up every spot you can for storage. Okay? Your cooler sits right here. Chaparral likes to use removable coolers. You pack the boat at home, and you bring it down, set it into place. I've equipped this boat with a cockpit table because on this boat, I feel like I did not want the cockpit table interfering with the porta potty. And I'll explain that in a moment. So what I'm doing here is I'm having people sit in the cockpit to eat rather than down in the cabin. Okay, nice piece of floor storage here. It's nice and deep. Waste basket and sink. Here again, okay, so you're able to wash your hands and transom shower. Now people ask, well, what about the cooking part? Well, I sell these boats with a grill because the grill works better than anything else. Okay, down in the cabin. Now cuddy cabins, a lot of times the cabin is the storage. So you have, you throw the big canvas bag in here. What really happens, this has your cockpit cover and all of your enclosure canvas. So if you're not using that, you can just take this bag off the boat. And if you're laying down for the night, you can throw the bag in the cockpit or out on the swim platform. So it's pretty practical. The accent here is not on the bathroom. Okay, we have a little porta potty here. If you want, we can have that tie-in so it can be pumped out. But we're not putting the accent on the bathroom here. What Chaparral is telling you instead is that what you're going to do is you're going to go use that if you're anchored out, or do like I do and pee off the swim platform, but that's another story. Or you're going to be at a marina where you're going to have onshore facilities and you won't need it anyway. All that happens to make this into a bed is these just lay down flat. Okay, so these bags just lay down, and when you're done, they go back up in their seat bags. And there's plenty of room in here. This fills in the whole way, so actually you're going to probably put your feet in that direction. And right here, at least, I'm pretty much sitting straight up. You have a hatch that has a screen, and you have screened portholes, so there's cross ventilation. Well, I'm going to go over the bow real quick for you. Never buy a cuddy cabin without one of these, a nice pad that you can lay on top of the front deck with, and then when you get too hot, you just throw it overboard and swim around on it. You can see it's very handy getting to your anchor. Okay, so then you're just raising and lowering your anchor here, and you have something to grab onto the whole time. Very practical and safe.